This is Balamory, a look at the news and events shaping the lives of the men and women of the Norddeutschland military community.
Good evening. Welcome to another edition of Balamory. I'm Specialist Claude Falcone.
And I'm Specialist Tracy Tebow. This week on Balamory, a change of command ceremony at the Bremerhaven Medak.
We'll take a close-up look at a man who spent 40 years working for the government, and the Osterholz American High School senior class graduates. We'll also see some Bremerhaven elementary school students who are just starting to think about careers.
More from the elementary school this week. Students sang "We Are the World," but their rendition was a lot different than the one you hear on the radio.
Bremerhaven Elementary School had a sports day, and NDL held two 21st Support Command championships, one for soccer and one for bowling.
We'll see all that and more right after this.
Hey, it is the opportunity of a lifetime.
He's Mike Wallace, and he's talking about living in Europe.
You're in a foreign land with foreign people. Get off the base. Get into the local economy.
Your public affairs office can help you get involved in your community.
Stretch yourself.
A recent change of command ceremony took place at the Bremerhaven Medak. Few commanders get to see as many changes as did the outgoing commander for the U.S. Army Medak in Bremerhaven, Colonel Harry Davis.
Well, I think that the hospital has grown and changed quite a bit in the last 4 years. You are, I'm sure, very much aware of an extensive renovation program that was developed and initiated, just actually got started at the actual construction about 2 years ago, and we're now about 50% through it. $25 million worth of renovation, and it's going to really produce a really fine hospital here and for the community in Bremerhaven. I'm very excited about that. The other things relate to the fact that the field hospital has been returned to Bremerhaven, and that has put us in a much better situation in terms of readiness and training.
Other accomplishments under Colonel Davis's command include the opening of a clinic at Clay-Kaserne 2 years ago and the opening of a clinic at Rheinberg last summer. New clinics are more convenient for soldiers and family members, plus they alleviate patient overload at the Bremerhaven Medak. The area of the command encompasses about 31,000 square miles. The commander of the 7th MEDCOM, Major General Frank Ledford, awarded Colonel Davis the Army Meritorious Service Medal, 3rd Oak Leaf Cluster. Colonel Davis will now join the clinical staff at William Beaumont Army Medical Center in El Paso, Texas. The Bremerhaven Medak Command was turned over to Colonel Richard Marcure, who last served as Deputy Commander for Clinical Services at the U.S. Army Medak in Würzburg. Colonel Marcure talked about what one of his main goals as Medak Commander will be.
Quality assurance is the game. We're going to try and strive. We're going to strive for error-free medical care. Of course, that'll never be achieved, but we'll try and come as close as we can to that. We're going to implement the Army's ongoing quality assurance program, and I want to say it's ongoing because it existed long prior to the name quality assurance being attached to it.
20 years is a good amount of time to spend working for a single employer. There aren't too many who can say they've worked 30 years for a company or organization, and 40 years even fewer.
Caesar Cantu has been working for the U.S. government since the end of World War II. He was a sailor in the Italian Navy, which stopped fighting in 1943. When the Allies invaded Italy, he was moved as an Italian POW to Bremerhaven. After the war, he got a job with the U.S. government at the port of Bremerhaven. Over the years, he's done several jobs working with incoming and outgoing freight. He now works at the Military Export Clearance and Booking Office, or MCOBO, as a transportation specialist. The traffic manager at MCOBO, Elmer Donnelly.
Well, he's always been here, so he's seen it all. And he's been a part of it all in developing it. The real expert in the port for controlling export cargo. He's a wealth of knowledge on how the shipping is to be done, the best way to do it.
The MCOBO chief, Captain John Brown, awarded Mr. Cantu a gold pin for 40 years of service, along with a plaque and other tokens of appreciation. He also received presents from some of the organizations he's worked with over the years, including the Bundesbahn and AFIS. Mr. Cantu, or Nino as he's called by friends, explains his attitude about work in general.
See, I'm Italian, and I try to take everything like, not like so, what do you call it, so hard. See, I try to do it on the easy way. Knowledge is everything in the world. Knowledge, see, I had the knowledge in the port because I work in a port so long. I had the knowledge now in export cargo section, and now the knowledge in my Kobo Nord. So I have multitude experience.
At 61 years young, Cesar Cantu plans to work for several more years. The Army is celebrating its 210th birthday on Friday. NCOs are conducting a retreat ceremony that will take place in front of Building 2 on Carl Schurz Kaserne. Refreshments and an Army birthday cake will be served. After the retreat ceremony, the Northern Lights NCO Club and the Bremerhaven Officers Club will hold receptions for club members and guests. At Clay Kaserne, a reveille formation takes place at 5:30 a.m. Then in the evening, the Patton Combined Club will host a Monte Carlo night till midnight.
The Army continues to change, even though it's 210 years old. In case you don't know already, all Specialists 5s and 6s will be converted to hard stripe NCOs by October 1st. Affected soldiers will be able to get new rank insignias through the Army supply system.
It used to be that reading, writing, and arithmetic were all the kids learned in school. But as Bob Dylan used to sing, the times they are a-changin'.
What do you get when you put a hit song and a first-grade class learning sign language together? Well, you get Miss Strand's talented students performing We Are the World in a rather unique way. Arlena Strand, first-grade teacher at the Bremerhaven Elementary School, began teaching her kids sign language at the beginning of the school year. Then she took it a step further.
A lot of kids don't understand, you know, they have games and toys and things, and they still want more. And we try and associate, there's some kids that can't hear a single song ever, and kids that don't have any toys at all. We just try and relate things that people need and kids need. When you talk about living in a box or having a piece of bread to last you all day or walking a mile to get a cup of water, I think they do start understanding that. And we try and practice one day where we can't talk at all and we can only use sign language, and I think they do understand that it's a hard kind of life to lead.
Now, if this doesn't seem even a little amazing to you, think back. What were you doing in first grade besides trying to learn the basics being laid out before you? As for the parents, well, as you might expect, they're rather proud of their offspring.
We're listening more to what they have to say because, you know, they are our future, as they say. And it was a good concept for the school and people to get together to, you know, participate in. And I'm glad. I'm happy to know that my daughter is part of it.
I think it's great because it makes the children aware of what is going on in the world as far as with Ethiopia. And, you know, there's not just people, you know, just them. There is other people, and it's great for the children.
In Bremerhaven, Air Force Sergeant Tom Swanson, AFN News.
We are the children.
And last night was a big one for older students. 43 high school seniors from Ulsterholtz American High crossed the threshold of adulthood at their graduation ceremony.
With the Burgermeister Schmidt Memorial Church as a setting, the class of '85 moved into another stage of life while family and friends looked on. Student speakers during the evening talked about things they had learned, their experiences as military dependents with the Dodge system, friends they had come to know and love, and other memories they'll take with them into their adult lives. A musical number was then performed by Kristen Tate and Renee Ledesma. Brigadier General Thomas Tate, NDL Community Commander, then presented diplomas to the students, signaling the end of their high school days, but the beginning of a whole new experience.
I'm going to be a fashion designer. College is next.
Go to the States to college.
I'm going to get a job. I already have.
As graduation ceremonies go, this one was over in no time at all. But for the 43 graduating students, it marks another transition as they prepare to become tomorrow's leaders. In Bremerhaven, Air Force Sergeant Tom Swanson, AFN News.
Elementary school students tend to get a little itchy sitting in class towards the end of the school year. Since the NDL weather was unusually nice last week, this year's Bremerhaven Elementary School Sports Day was doubly welcomed by the students.
Bremerhaven Elementary School has held a sports day for the last 5 years. The lower grades participate in sports events for the first half of the school day, and the upper grades get their turn in the second half of the day. Classes rotated to the various planned physical education events, which included tug of war, street hockey races, standing broad jump into a sandbox, sack races, parachute games, the 50-yard dash, hula hooping, and jolly ball. Parents got involved with the day by coordinating the activities. The day wouldn't have been possible without their help. The physical education teacher for the school is Larry Bruce.
Well, the goals of the day basically is just to come out and have a real good time, get plenty of activity, and we got a beautiful day for it.
Winners of the competitive events didn't go away empty-handed. They were awarded ribbons for first, second, and third place efforts.
I won the sack race, so I got my first place sign. And we just finished playing jolly ball, and we got first place in that.
This is a good day and lots of fun. It happens only once a year, and so you shouldn't miss it.
In sports news with older athletes, the NDL Port City player soccer team met the Kaiserslautern Panthers at Clay-Kasern in the 21st Support Command Playoff Soccer Championship. The NDL community team won the Travel League with a 9-2-1 record that put them automatically into the playoff game. K-Town earned its way to the championship by beating NDL 3-2 in the 21st Subcom postseason tournament.
The 21st Support Command Championship decided whether Norddeutschland or K-Town would go on as the 21st Subcom representative in the USAREUR competition. The NDL Port City players in yellow and the Kaiserslautern Panthers in red and black played to a tie at 1 goal apiece in the first half. NDL took command of the game in the second half as Victor Brown scored 2 goals in 9 minutes. Then his teammate, Fitzgerald Lawrence, scored his second goal of the game to give Norddeutschland a 4-1 lead. K-Town and Norddeutschland each scored 1 goal in the last 8 minutes. NDL walked away with the 5-2 victory. The shots on goal count, Norddeutschland 23, Kaiserslautern 9. The NDL coach, Hamilton Lindsay, and soccer aces, Fitzgerald Lawrence and Victor Brown.
13-3-1, and we've now got 55 goals, 4 against, 17 against. That's pretty good. Indicative of the whole team, good defense and good goal scorers. These guys have scored all the goals. There's 1 or 2 coming from other departments, but these guys are the main goal scorers.
What, for this whole season?
For the whole season. These 2 are fighting out to see who's going to score the most goals between them.
Where are you at right now? Do you know the totals?
No, I've got it written down somewhere.
I think he's 1 goal behind me.
Yeah, he's 1 goal behind him.
The defending USAREUR champion Port City players take on the 5th Corps champion Hanau Hornets next Saturday at Hanau. You've probably heard of bowling for dollars or bowling for food stamps. How about bowling for your company? That's what soldiers from 6 companies did recently when they bowled in the 3-day 2nd annual 21st Support Command Bowling Championship.
The 21st Subcom bowling season boiled down to 6 teams who competed in the 2nd annual 21st Subcom Bowling Championship. Teams from NDL, Pirmasens, AFN, Mannheim, Rheinberg, and Zweibrücken battled it out in 3 days of competition. NDL took first place with a nearly 700-pin lead over second place Pirmasens. AFN Reserve Corps finished about 300 pins behind Pirmasens. NDL was represented by the 606th Tactical Control Squadron. The team captain, John Chacon, on why an Air Force team represented NDL instead of an Army team.
They don't have enough time to bowl, the Army that is, don't have enough time to bowl, or because the Air Force is just better. I like to think of it as a combination of we're better and they just don't have enough time to bowl.
Individual awards went to Andres Garcia and Marlo Maxwell of Parmesan's, Dennis Wobecker and J.C. Hendricks of NDL, and Michael Mull of Rheinberg. The 543rd Area Support Group Executive Officer, Lieutenant Colonel Jerry Rowe, was on hand to present the awards. The Clay Bowling Center's manager, Walter McEwen, explains the benefits of having the tournament at his facility.
Well, naturally, the competition, and the community gets some recognition out of it, and it's well worth the effort.
Father's Day is coming up Sunday, June 16th, and AFES could save you money at Saturday's Father's Day Early Bird Sale. The sidewalk and special truckload sales run from 8 to 10 Saturday morning at the Bremerhaven and Clay main exchanges.
Looking forward to future career options can be confusing for adults, let alone children. But studying career fields is helping Bremerhaven Elementary School students get an early start in choosing possible careers.
I want to be a military policeman just like my father.
I would like to become either a teacher or a policewoman.
I'd like to be, well, X-ray train engineer.
I want to be a first grade teacher because when you teach, you're sort of like letting kids know, like you're teaching them different stuff. So when they grow up, they'll know like math and adding and subtracting really good.
X-ray technician.
4th, 5th, and 6th grade students were learning more than their ABCs during the Bremerhaven Elementary School's Career Day. They were given an opportunity to look at several government job fields.
This is the second year that we've had this, and it gives the children an opportunity to see other career fields, know the things that are open for them in the future. And we also put an emphasis on the fact that training and schooling are very important, and it's their responsibility to take that training and schooling and do something with it.
The Bremerhaven Elementary School has a career awareness program to give students a chance to investigate job fields through classwork and career day. Most kids change their minds about a job after they find out what the duties of the job are. Volunteers from 8 military and government fields talked to the students. Job fields included communications, law enforcement, secretarial services, medical, postal, and job safety. A little bit of time spent on job planning may save a lot of confusion later on for the students of the Bremerhaven Elementary School. And that wraps up another edition of Balamory. I'm Specialist Tracy Tebow.
And I'm Specialist Claude Falcone. Stay tuned for the Wednesday evening movie, Darker Than Amber. Good night.
Good night.
This has been Balamory, a production of AFN Bremerhaven.
Astronaut.
AFN Radio, serving the Heidelberg community at 1143 AM and 100.4 FM.